What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MontyVerse. Today we are checking out the brand new trailer for Dune Part 2, and I had to bring back my Dune expert, the legend himself, Zach McDonald. Zach, welcome back from retirement.
I'm out of retirement, man. They dropped a trailer and I said, look, I'm retired, but I gotta come back.
I'm thinking
I
you're
gotta
back.
come back for this. Yeah.
All right,
So,
dude.
I mean, look, we both know this is going to be the greatest movie ever made.
Fair.
So, like, the trailer, it's probably going to be pretty good, but we know what we're in for, right?
Yeah. I mean, the first trailer was small. There wasn't a lot that happened in it for me anyway, as someone who doesn't know anything
Paul
about
riding the worm.
Yeah, well, he
small.
rides the worm like that, but that is out of everything that I feel like needs to get done in this movie, that is something small to me. But you know what? Let's check out this trailer, and then you could yell at me for all of the things I don't know about Dune. But we are starting the Dune trailer in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, whoa, it's a Dune.
This world is beyond cruelty.
It's Paul.
We've
There's
been fighting
Drax.
Argonauts for decades. My
Classic
family's been
Drax.
fighting them for
Classic Drax.
centuries. They were
Oh,
massacred
gosh. Some burning bodies.
alongside my father.
Your father didn't believe in revenge.
Well, I do.
We believe in Fremen.
Let me fight beside
yeah.
you.
Hell yeah. Whoa, that effect is crazy.
Reload!
With, like, the explosion inside of the shield.
I'm reloaded. Let's go.
Ooh, a siege.
He said I got that.
Oh, that's not nice.
Thanks.
I won't be
He's not a
fighting for
Fremen
him.
yet, you know?
I'm fighting for my people.
Get wrecked. Whoa! Gurney!
You old salty dog.
You believe in
Oh, look at the size of that fucking worm.
Oh my god.
There are signs. Like that giant fucking worm.
The prophet. Why is that a bad thing? Use it.
because all my visions
That's the
lead to
Atreides
horror.
coming out of him. He's like, bro, manipulate these people.
Because you lose control.
Because I gain it. Johnny,
That's
you
hard as
believe in
fuck.
me.
Paul Atreides is
Let's
still
go.
alive.
The fucking Emperor. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Deal with this
Ooh,
prophet.
blue eyes. Blue, uh-oh.
Show me who you are.
Rip.
Your father. Was a weak man.
Oh,
Dude. You ain't shit, bro.
Comes
not
back
nice.
from the dead.
Uh-oh.
I'll do what must be done.
Gurney rolling up with the squad.
We gave
Oh,
them
shit.
something to hope for.
That's not how!
Oh, fuck yeah,
I will love you as long as I breathe.
This prophecy is how they enslave us!
dude. Oh. Yo, he just grabbed the
It's a
blade.
story.
I don't care what you believe. I believe.
Yo.
that's sick.
Monty Atreides
Oh, what
Monty, he said it.
Arrakis.
What?
He who can destroy a thing has the real control of it.
Yo. Bro. Look.
Listen, I don't even know what happened in that trailer. I don't even know what was happening or why it was happening. All I know is I'm hype as shit after watching
Look.
that.
Stone cold fucking lock, greatest movie ever made coming up.
It's
It's-
gorgeous.
It's written in stone.
It's so good look. It's such a good looking film.
Oh, dude, we get so many little hints about what's to come too. Like that line in the trailer, what was it? Gurney says something like, oh no, Paul says all of my visions end in horror. And then Gurney's like, why? Because you lose control. And he says, because I gain it. And it's like, yo, dog, maybe chill then.
Maybe
I
just
don't know.
like, I don't
Maybe
know.
chill.
Dude, that's
Maybe
wild.
relax. But he's like, nah, dude, I'm about to rally the fighters.
It's so So I'm assuming Paul builds a resistance, to, like, and then we see that of the Fremen, and that's like the big battle. Are there going to be multiple battles in this movie, or is it going to be like one big battle?
There will be multiple battles, but there is definitely
Like a
the
big
big
one.
battle.
Okay, like the final battle.
Yeah. So,
Man,
oh my gosh, we finally get to see Christopher Walken
yeah,
as the Emperor, which, look, I knew that this was going to be kind of weird, and it doesn't really follow the book. And they've done that a couple times. They did it in Dune Part One, and they're doing it now for like clearly for visual storytelling purposes, which is like in the book, the Emperor, one, he's a redhead, and two, he looks like he's 30, even though he's in his 70s, just from consumption of spice, and it keeps people young and whatnot. Obviously, from a visual storytelling purposes, it'd be kind of weird to have the Emperor actually look like he's 30 something.
yeah.
Because then you got to get clunky with lines of dialogue and do an exposition of why he looks so young, and it doesn't really help the story, I don't think. So I'm totally fine with them having Christopher Walken just looking like an older guy, and he looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about all of that, and you're the Dune expert. I've never read Dune, so I'll take your word on it. But yeah, you are definitely right. In a visual medium, it's you really want to get your point across as quickly as possible with as little clunky exposition as possible, especially in a story that's so immersive and has such an expansive world as Dune, where I felt like the first movie alone was just an entire movie of build up and establishing like the universe and the rules and the lore. So yeah, I want this movie to move a little faster. I want us to be engaged with these characters a little more. I love that reunion between Paul and Gurney Halloran.
Gurney Halleck.
Halleck. There we go.
Yeah.
I thought it was really great. I thought it was played very well. I'm excited to see Josh Brolin come back and kick Dave Bautista's ass.
Look who's back from the dead.
The Beast Raban.
Oh my god, dude. He just rolls up with a squad.
And was he wearing his House Atreides armor?
He's wearing his house. And I think I would have to look again, but I swear, like, I think the other people with him may have also been wearing House Atreides
That's
gear,
what it looked like
which means
to me.
that may be sort of like all the remnants of people that were not slaughtered at the on Arrakeen. So, bro, it just we see the Reverend Mother, the Fremen Reverend Mother for the first time. We hadn't seen her before. One person we still have not seen is Aliyah. And we know nothing about Aliyah from any of the news. So Aliyah is Paul's younger sister.
Interesting.
You know, in the last movie, right, it's revealed that Jessica's pregnant.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen anything about that. So I'm curious. It's something that I've considered maybe cut from the movie completely. But she's an important character eventually. She's not hypercritical in these movies, but eventually she becomes very important.
How old would she be in this movie?
So
because obviously there's going to
be there's going to be a time jump of a couple of years. So she's like a few years old, you know,
okay,
3 years old or something.
I was thinking like maybe they just cast a baby, and the reason why we haven't seen her yet is because it's a baby or a young actress, and it's of no relevance or of anyone of marketing, like marketability, you know, because you know how trailers are cut. They want to show you things that will market and sell the movie. So maybe that's probably why we haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, and I don't want to go into too many details because she's a very unique character for some different reasons. But I just don't know if we're going to get her because, again, her role in this story is fairly limited. But I mean, look, we're getting rumors out there that Dune Messiah might be happening.
Yeah, I mean,
in which case Aliyah plays a much bigger role. So it's like, I don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like you kind of need to introduce Aliyah. But we'll see. I'm not sure. So
it's so weird that you bring that up because like Villeneuve talked about wanting to do 3 movies, but there was an article, I believe it was from Deadline today, that kind of said the plan is to do 3. So I'm assuming that there's so much faith in this movie that they may have already secretly greenlit Dune Messiah, which is interesting.
Man, that would be so good.
I mean, if you're gonna if you're gonna Dune it, might as well Dune all 3, right?
You gotta Dune it all, you know. fingers crossed we get God Emperor of Dune one day. Holy shit.
I mean, if they
That'd
make
be the
enough
best.
money, you'll get it. So
Yeah. But yeah, Dune Messiah, like, all right, we're getting a little off track here, but Dune Messiah is like, it is the resolution of Paul's story, and it's so like important for getting the whole picture of what this story is about. And again, we kind of get little glimpses of it about, Paul saying, no, the horrors happen because he gains control. And it's like,
yeah.
this isn't, there's a happy ending that is maybe not a happy ending for everybody. And it's a really interesting story to see play out and how it plays out. And
Yeah,
I
mean,
hope we get that story one day.
I think Paul's a very interesting character in the sense of in the first movie, we saw kind of that power hungry aspect come out of him a little bit, very briefly. But when it came out, it was aggressive towards, like his mother, towards that
Yep.
scene where kind of right before Duncan Idaho sacrifices himself.
Yep.
He's just like, yo, I'm gonna get revenge, and I'm gonna rule the whole gal. I'm gonna
Right.
take everyone down. And it's just like, whoa,
Well,
Paul.
right, and he tells Liet Kynes, like, as emperor, he's talking about himself as the emperor. He's like, with the as emperor, I can turn this place into a paradise
Yeah.
with a snap of my fingers. And it's like, hey, buddy, you're like
Oh.
in the middle of nowhere right now with nobody, and you're talking about yourself as the
Yeah.
emperor. Like,
Very ambitious, very.
Yeah.
He feels like a chess player. He feels like he has the mind of a chess player.
yeah,
Always making moves. One character we did see a little bit more of, two really. We saw more of Florence Pugh's character, whose name I can't remember, and we
Princess
saw more
Irulan.
Princess Irulan and Fade Routha. We did see more
Yeah,
of Austin
we did see
Butler.
more of Fade.
Yeah, which was really cool. It's really cool, but we're really seeing mostly action scenes from him, fight scenes. There was that scene where he caught the blade, and then he had an Assassin's Creed little arm dagger come out. So I'm assuming him and Paul throw down a little bit.
There may be a little duel between them.
A little
We'll see.
kerfuffle, a little scrap. And it's weird because Orlan, like the last trailer we did, you kind of talked about how she was a neutral character and how she kind of is the not the narrator, but the sort of the cartographer, the documentarian of the world of Dune. And we do see her with the Emperor. So it left me curious to see what part does she play in all this, because she's chilling with the Emperor, and that's not a very good dude. That's a pretty not nice guy.
He's a jealous man,
He's a man. He's just a regular jealous POS.
Yeah, I don't know how much I should say about
all right. Don't
that,
if it's
because
gonna spoil
I
it.
don't know if it's really spoilery in a way, because it's just sort of like status, what is there, why would she be with the Emperor? And I don't think that spoils anything. So, all right, if you think it's a spoiler to understand why Irulan would be with the Emperor, go ahead and mute for 31 seconds, and we'll be right back. Okay, anyways, Irulan is the Emperor's daughter.
Yeah, that's exactly where my mind jumped when you said think about why she would be there, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's his daughter.
So, and that is actually part of the reason why I think they may have not made the Emperor look young like he is in the book.
Yeah.
I think that maybe reads a little awkward or something if they're essentially the same age or fairly close to the same age as the characters playing him. So him just being older makes it a little bit easier to sort of take in as him being her father.
Absolutely, especially if you're trying to market this to a general audience to kind of get that immediate visual interpretation of them as father-daughter. It works so much better than to have someone Florence Pugh's age, like a Will Poulter playing her dad, and just you guys are peers, not father and daughter. So okay. All right, I like it.
Yeah, so right, she's a very interesting character throughout this story, and then definitely again, like Dune Messiah, that's where she becomes a totally integral character and very important in sort of how things play out in that book. So that's another reason why I hope we get that movie to get more of Florence Pugh in that role. But bro, this thing just hits on every level. Oh my gosh, that scene where I'm assuming it's Paul walking the desert and the worm just
that's the best shot of the trailer.
Out of the sand behind him is so unreal.
Just the landscape shot of just this being in the foreground, and then to have this gigantic worm emerging from the ground, and you have it out of focus, and you just,
Right, the earth is just spraying out
Yes.
around it. It's just like
it's gorgeous. Like I said, this is a gorgeous film. It's ridiculous, the different textures and atmospheres, and just how he uses the landscape in different planets to tell the visual story of the movie is something I'm going to be so fascinated with, because just clicking through this trailer, there's just so much color and texture and atmosphere. It's just insane.
Also, you had mentioned something about the lore, how the first movie set up some of like just, put the cards on the table and set up a little bit lore. We actually get a tiny bit in this trailer that I don't know was ever really established previously, but Paul says, I'm assuming he's talking to either Chani or he's talking to Stilgar, but he basically says, you guys have been fighting the Harkonnens for decades. We've been fighting them for centuries. So like that sort of establishes like these houses are rivals going back literally thousands of years. Which actually I kind of wish he would have, instead of saying centuries, he would have said millennia. But either way, the point is like the beef he has with the Harkonnens, it's more than just the fact that they killed his dad or whatever. Like this is a long standing rivalry, and it's bitter and it's nasty and it's full of, backstabbing and betrayal and everything else. So
it's interesting that you say that, because one of the lines that really caught my eye in the trailer was Paul giving his big like Independence Day speech where he's like, I am Paul Muad'Dib Atreides. I am the Duke of Arrakis. Like he's saying, like, the way I interpret it is he's saying like, I'm whoever you need me to be, but I am that guy. It's actually
like he's claiming all of his
everything, all of his birthright,
all of his rights. Okay. Basically, yes, he's saying, look, I am the leader of the Fremen. I am the leader of the Arrakis. I am the leader of the Atreides. I am all. So yeah, he is. He's feeling himself.
He's just a little bit.
Let's be clear. He's feeling himself.
Paul's just that dude, huh? He's just got that dog in him, I guess. This is the only time I think I've ever been intimidated by Timothée Chalamet, and not me personally, because I feel like I'll just throw a Gatorade on his face. But I think he does a great job of projecting the intensity of Paul Atreides in this trailer, which is something I was afraid of.
We get a couple references to prophecy in this one. So Chani is like the prophecy is how they handcuff us or cage us or enslave us or whatever she says. Because she kind of sees it. She sees like, look, the prophecy is not like, it's not a real thing per se. It's a story that was given to us, and Paul was like essentially bred to fit the prophecy. And so, but Stilgar, he's like on the totally other end of the spectrum. He's like, look, you don't know. Like, I've been around a long time. This shit's real. Like, we've all lived with it forever. And we see the signs, right? We see him riding the biggest worm any of us have ever seen in our entire lives. Like, this isn't by accident. He is the chosen one. And then again, we also get Gurney saying like, whoa, they think you're the chosen one? Bro, that's fucking sick. You can totally leverage that.
Yeah.
You can totally leverage that to get these people on your side. And that's like very much sort of like the Imperium and how they think. It's all about like, hey, how can you use information and use these things to manipulate people to serve you in order to getting what you want out of it. And it's one of those things where it's like, Gurney's not a bad guy and Paul's not a bad guy, but that's the world they come from.
Yeah.
And, like that's sort of how they play the game. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but shit's going to be wild.
Oh my gosh, dude. I'm excited.
So fucking hyped.
I'm not going to lie. The first trailer had me like decently excited. This trailer got me hyped. Like, I got chills. I wanted to jump out of my chair. I wanted to go find some sand and like run in it. Like, this movie's gonna be wild.
Dude, the Emperor just being like, your father was a weak man, bro. You're gonna get cut, brother.
Like,
Try saying that again.
And I love this, like, in that scene, Christopher Walken has this like clean white robe. His face is very like made up and primmed and proper. He has a really neat haircut. And then it cuts to Paul and he's glaring at him and his face is filthy. his hair is a mess, and he's just like staring daggers at him. And I love that contrast in the film because they do that a lot, especially with the with Fade Routha and like he feels to me like whiter than the Beast Raban, whiter than all of the Harkonnens that we saw in the last movie. Like the white that is Fade Routha's skin, it just feels like it's piercing and very like intimidating to be around.
Yeah. No, I agree about that scene where it's like the Emperor, you see him, like you're saying, all crisp and clean and in his shiny clothes, because he rules from up on high, you know, he orders people and tells them what to do. Whereas Paul, he's about that life. He's in the mix, you know, and it shows.
Yeah, him and Shawnee. Shawnee was in there.
Yeah, Shawnee's in the mix.
He was like, no, and she was just like, oh no.
She's like, I'm good.
She's like, dude, like, I'm good, dude. Like, I don't know who you think I am, but are we gonna see him wear that golden Iron Man suit that we saw?
I don't know, because like,
doesn't
I'm
look
assuming
like
that suit is the Fedaykin or Fedaykin armor, which is basically his death commandos. Those are like the elite Fremen warriors. That's like his personal squad. So I don't know. I hope so. I mean, we better get some freaking Fedaykin.
If we don't, I guess you could spin that like it was the prophecy telling him like you will stand out amongst like you will fight, but you will be above everyone, like you are chosen. You know, I don't know. I'm interested in the lore now. I'm like super like into it. I'm like, wow. Well, I guess you could interpret it this way or that way.
No, I really do hope we get Paul's death commandos, because they're something else.
It's just hype. This whole trailer is just hype. Just you have Florence Pugh just wearing all types of headgear.
Dude, it's so sick. I love the creativity from the costume department. Again, I mentioned this in our last trailer review, but it's like you could so easily put her in a crown. Like, that's so easy to do. Just put her in a crown. And they're like, no, this is 20,000 years in the future. We don't have to play by those rules. We can do whatever we want. We can interpret like royalty and regality in any way that we see fit.
Yeah. Speaking of, I literally was just scrolling through the trailer, and it's in the Fade Routha Coliseum fight. There are these people behind him that are in full black bodysuits with like a scythe helmet on, like a helmet that is like a huge semicircle, and it's the most wild thing I've ever seen.
Oh shit, yeah, I just clicked through. Yeah, that is fucking wild.
And it's just the costume design in this film is so good, because that's so creepy and off-putting, and it's just there. And
also it's awesome, that it's just like in the background. Yeah. It's not like you're not even seeing a shot of that. No. There's something else happening. I'm like, but what if there was just a creepy hammerhead and scyther in the background?
Like, just the creepiest thing, like a creepy like leather suit creepazoid just in the back. Like, that's why it plays with the foreground and the background. I'm excited to analyze the shots of this film when it comes out, because my God, even the shot of like Gurney Halleck coming up the steps in his armor, and then you just have like all of the burning behind him and the smoke, and just like so good. All of these wide landscape shots. There's a shot where it looks like a bunch of Harkonnens are kind of just, someone is passing through them and they're kind of opening a hole in the middle.
I think that's I think that's Paul walking through the crowd of Fremen.
Oh, they're wearing hoods. Okay, yes, I'm looking at it now. I thought they were Harkonnens because I thought those were their giant white heads, but they're just hoods. They're just hoods, people. Okay, but yeah, there's so much going on in this trailer.
Dude, also like in one of these big battle scenes, there's a really interesting structure in the background. I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's clearly not a building from Arrakis. It's not the correct architecture to be something native to Arrakis. So I think that might be like literally like a ship, like a fucking spaceship or something.
That would be cool. Is it the one that looks like, are you talking about the one with Chani?
Yep.
It looks,
it's got like all the, it's like looks metallic and it's got like jagged edges on it, like not the worn sort of gray or like tan that you see all over
Definitely.
Arrakis.
It's some sort of metallic, like, built structure. It kind of looks like the roof of a Pizza Hut.
Yeah, a little bit.
So it might be, Space Pizza Hut, Dune Pizza Hut.
Bro, this shit's gonna be wild.
This is just gonna be
Oh my
wild.
god, I'm so hyped.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about yet that you want to address that you feel like you have to talk about?
Let's see. I'm trying to scroll through the trailer real quick to see. I mean, there is that line at the end where you see that explosion happen, and he says, "He who can destroy a thing has real control over control of it." That's like a great line because it sort of gets into sort of Paul's leverage over some of the other major players in the Dune universe, right? Like he lives in the desert with the Fremen. That's where the spice comes from. The spice makes the world go round. So he's basically saying, like, look, at any time I can hold the entire galaxy hostage by just being like, all right, I'm gonna fuck up the spice. I'm gonna fuck up the spice. And what are you guys gonna do about it?
That's a baller
So you know
move.
what that tells you? That tells you I'm actually the boss.
That's
I'm
a
the boss.
baller move. God,
So it's
Paul's got that dog in him, dude. Like, geez.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying though. He's by the end of this thing, he is really feeling himself.
Man.
And again, like we see signs of that, in the last movie, but like it just builds and builds.
Yeah, it was hard for me last movie to see little Timmy Tim Chalamet and envision him as that dude, but hey, who knows? A lot of times passed. Maybe he's him now. Who knows?
Gosh. I can't wait.
Oh my god.
Oh, actually, you get a really good shot of that structure.
Yeah, towards the end of the trailer.
When you see the two sides charging at one another.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
There are ships in front of it, so
right.
Maybe it's like a throne ship. Is this the final battle?
It might be. So yeah, maybe that's
maybe that's
a throne ship.
Maybe that's the structure that Paul and Fade Routha fight in. That there's that little, because it has that little mirror at the top of it, right? That little hole where the sun comes through. So maybe that's where they have their little scrape, their little kerfuffle.
It's crazy looking.
It's crazy.
But again, it's like, think about if that is a ship, like think about some of the ships we saw in part 1, right? You get the big orb ship that the Imperial, whatchamacallit, I can't remember what he's called. But anyway, the guy that shows up to Caladan to tell them like, hey, do you take control of Arrakis and whatnot? And then you get the ship like on Arrakis, the ships they take, you get I don't know, all the ship design is just like so creative. And so it's like, it's been a long time since we've seen such innovative ship design, right? Like think back to like original Star Wars, like, okay, amazing ship design, all sort of very original and new. Now we're getting sort of like a new wave of that. And it's just fucking so good.
Yeah, it's really good, especially for a big budget blockbuster kind of space opera like this is. We see a lot of that in like smaller indie sci-fi films. I just watched the movie Sunshine, and I can't help but think about that and how that was a pretty interesting spaceship design. But yeah, in these big blockbusters, they tend to all look alike. They tend to all look pretty similar. But yeah, you're right. I think the level of detail in the design that goes into everything in these movies, from the jewelry, even down to Duke Leto's ring that we see Paul carry with him. It's so detailed and so well designed. So it's just, we could look through this thing and find a million things to talk about just in the backgrounds of shots, like we did with those creepy little Scyther guys. Zach, where can the people find you?
Let's see. You can find me on Twitter at hi, my name is Zach M. Tweeting about probably just Dune, honestly. It's going to be about it.
And you guys can find me here on the MontyVerse. Make sure to like the video, give it a huge thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest content. And until next time, guys, stay versed.